Hello class, and welcome to Excel using the VLOOKUP function. My name is Bill Berquist and I'll be your instructor for this lesson. By the time you finish this video, you'll have a basic understanding of how to use the VLOOKUP function in Excel. What is VLOOKUP? The VLOOKUP function is a 3 or 4 argument function used in Excel to look up a cell value, find that value in the leftmost column of a specific lookup table, then finally display the data from a column offset number within the table. Let's look at the VLOOKUP syntax. The syntax is equals VLOOKUP open parentheses, the lookup cell, the table where you want to find the lookup cell, and then lastly the column offset number. There's also an optional fourth argument for true and false, which we'll get to in our exercise. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay everybody, here we go. We're at our worksheet. I actually have 3 worksheets for this exercise. I have a hardware store, a placement school, and a checking account. And we're just going to be doing the VLOOKUP function. Okay, the VLOOKUP function. Now this worksheet, the goal is to calculate amount due based on the total amount and then a discount percentage, which can be found down here. This is my little lookup table. It's a real small 2-column table, operational word being 2, and a discount percent with the discount amount, and then finally the amount due, which is the total minus the discount amount. Okay, so let's do our total. Equals A4, the quantity purchased, times the price each. Okay, just short of $400. I'll copy it down. I'll format to currency, and I'll make these comma style. There we go. All right, now our discount is going to be a percentage based on how many were purchased. So the more the customer purchases, the deeper of a discount they get. So if they purchased 300 items, they're going to get a 9% discount, but 100 items would be a 7% discount. So I want to see the percentage in this cell right here. So let's do VLOOKUP. Now one cool thing I want to do first is range name. I'm going to highlight my table, both columns. Notice I did not highlight the title, just the data. And I'll click up in here, we'll call it discount table. I'll do an underscore, there we go. Not allowed to have spaces in a range name, so I use underscores. And our discount is going to be equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses. Here's my lookup value, the 175, comma, I want to look up the discount table that I just range named, comma, and then the number 2. Okay, so before I hit enter, we're going to look up and see what's in A4. And Excel's going to see 175. Then we're going to come down here to the lookup table, to our discount table, and look up and down the leftmost column. VLOOKUP, which stands for vertical, that's where the V comes in for vertical, up and down, okay, is going to look up and try to find that 175. Well, it's not going to find exactly 175, but it does find between 100 and 200, right? So it'll be on the lower number, so it's going to be 7%. It's going to be 7%. So that's where my 2 comes in. It's the second column in my table. Column 1, column 2. I'll hit enter, and I get 0.07. I'll format that to percent, give it a couple of decimals, and I'll copy it down. Okay, you can verify it. 289 would be an 8% discount, which is between 200 and 300, and there's my 8%. Once it hits 300, it'll go to 9%. So if I type in 300 up here, it jumps over to 9%. All right, so that's our first VLOOKUP. Now our discount amount is the total times the discount. So equals C4 times discount. 2683 is the discount. And I'll make those comma style. And then the amount due is the total minus the discount amount. There we go. And we can just format that to comma. Now these are error messages, don't worry about that. I'm going to click right here and pick ignore. Okay, now if I change the quantity purchase, I'll change this to 75. And the discount drops a little bit. Now it's only about a $10 discount. Because they didn't buy as many. You gotta buy, the more you buy, the deeper discount you get. Okay, you can format it a little bit up here maybe. Let's see, do some shading. Maybe make it bold, center a line. And put a bottom border over here. And my worksheet looks good. Now I have my first VLOOKUP. Now there's a reason the lookup table is down here. You can put the lookup table wherever you want, but there's a few places you don't want to put it. I don't want to put my lookup table over here because later on, if I insert a column up here for whatever reason, I want to add something, it's going to split my table. It's going to break it up. Same thing if I have my discount table up here. Some people put their tables right next to it. But what if I insert another row for another customer? I'm breaking up my table. Okay, no good. I don't like that. So if I keep it to the lower right, I can insert all the columns I want and it's not going to break up my table. Insert a row, insert a column, and my table stays put. Okay, let's go to our next worksheet. This is our placement school, City Advanced Placement School class report. Let's go ahead and do another VLOOKUP here. Basically, the purpose of this worksheet is to look up the student's grade and determine if they get a F, C, B, or A. Okay, so let's name this range right here. We'll call it grade table. See, I love range naming because I don't have to worry about what range address it's in. There we go. Okay, my average is pretty easy. Just highlight that. Go to my auto sum button and pick average. Center align it. Decrease my decimals. There we go. Okay, now our VLOOKUP. And it's 2 again, isn't it? I only have 2 columns here. Now, we can also use the dialog box, the wizard, to help us use the VLOOKUP statement. We did it manually for the first worksheet. Let's use the insert function dialog box for our next one. So VLOOKUP, and I'll click go, and there it is. I'll double click. Okay, I want to look up and see what that 80 is. What is that? F7. I want to look up F7 and see what it is. Go to the table array, grade underscore table. Uppercase, lowercase does not matter. And then the second column index number. And we should get a B because an 80 is a B. I'll hit OK. And I'll center align it. And I'll copy it down. There we go. So if a student has a 63, they're going to have an F. Let's see, 83 would be a B. 72 is a C. Okay, now here's how it works. If it doesn't find the exact number, it's going to do a range. Like, 0 to 69 would be an F, 70 to 79 would be a C, 80 to 89 would be a B, and then 90 to 100 would be an A, because it's a range, 93, 94. Okay, the VLOOKUP actually has a 4th argument where you can look up an exact match. An exact match or an approximate match or a range. Okay, we're going to see that on the next worksheet. All right, my student count of A students, I'm going to use the COUNTIF function here. COUNTIF, There we go. Comma A. Uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter, but you got to have it in quotes. Okay, we have one student that received an A. Let's do B students now. Equals count A. Oh, whoops. Count if. Okay, I didn't range name it, so I got to use the actual range. Comma B. 3 B students equals count if. You can see how range naming really comes in handy. So yeah, 4 C students and equals count if. The range, there's your little help screen, range and criteria. F. And we have 1. Okay, so 1A, 1F, 3 Bs, and 4 Cs. Pretty much a perfect bell curve. Okay, we'll do a total count. 9 students. Okay, the percent of the total would be equals the count divided by the total count. I got to absolute that because I want to copy it down. Make that center aligned, percent. I'll give it a couple of decimals. And there we go with our percents. Now, if I change my grades over here, I'll make that a 45. There we go. All my percents update, all my counts update, all my grades update. I'll make that an 89. Make that 100. Always test the worksheet, and it looks good. All right, so that's our second VLOOKUP right down here in the grade. We're looking up cell F7. Okay, find it in grade table, and then bring over the second column. That's where the number 2 comes in. All right, let's do our last one here, checking account. Okay, now here, I do want to find an exact match because I have exact check numbers. With the grades and the discount, it was a range of numbers, right? 0 to 69 was an F, 70 to 79 was a C. Okay, but over here, I want an exact match. So this one will be a little bit different. Let's see, I'll do some range naming here. I'll just call it check table, check underscore table. There we go. And here we have 4 columns. Okay, we have 4 columns. The check number, the payee, the date, and the amount. So let's see here. I want to go to payee. Now here, I want to find an exact match. So equals VLOOKUP, open parentheses, look up and see the check number, which is B5, comma, and then check table, comma, and I want to see the payee. So the payee is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The payee is the second column, so I'll put a 2 right there. And hit enter, and I'm getting an error message. It's because it's looking up the cell and it's empty. I'll put a 101 in there. And I get Computer Shack. Okay. Now the next one will be equals VLOOKUP. Look up the same cell, comma, the check table again. Yeah, the only thing different is the column offset number. This one I want to see the date, and that's 1, 2, 3, the third column in my table. So I'll do 3, and then enter. And I'm getting a funny number because it's a date it's not a date format. I'll click up here, make it short date. Yeah, 9/5/2003. And then the amount equals VLOOKUP, open paren, and I want to look up the 101 again, comma, check table, comma 2. Okay, and there we go. So now no matter what check number I type in, 105, it all pops up automatically. Now, I want to make sure I find an exact match whenever I type in. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click this. At the end of the 2, I'm going to do comma. And yeah, 2 is an approximate match, like the grade table and the discount table. False is an exact match. The default is true. If I omit both of those, I don't put any true or false, it'll go with the approximate match. But I want to make sure this is super correct, so I'm going to do the false match. So I'll type in the word false. There we go. And I'll do it up here too for the next one. Uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. There we go. So now it's going to look for an exact match. If you type in one that's out of range, you're going to get an error message. Okay, I don't have any check 250, just 101 to 110. I'll type in 75. All right, same thing, 101, and there we go. Another thing I can do is make like a drop-down list here. Let's see, I'll go up to my 101, and I'm going to go to Data, and I'll go to my Data Validation, and allow any value. I'll pick List, Source, and I'm going to highlight all these values, and hit OK. See, now I get a drop-down list over here, and I can just pick the check number, and it automatically pops up. $107, 110, and we're looking good. Okay, all right, so we'll stop here. That is a little bit about using VLOOKUP. Okay, using the VLOOKUP function. We'll have a separate video for HLOOKUP. The good news is, in the real world, I haven't used HLOOKUP very often. Basically, the H is for horizontal. This is VLOOKUP, where it looks up and down the table vertically, and the HLOOKUP is horizontal. It looks across the table, which I really haven't used a whole lot, but we'll have a separate video for the HLOOKUP table. It is an certification exam objective, is both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, my vertical lookup table and my horizontal lookup table. Okay, but we'll have that in a different video for HLOOKUP. All right, so we have our checking account, our placement school, and we have our hardware store using VLOOKUP. Okay, so we'll stop here, and I will see you for the next video.